Hello and welcome to another edition of Toys from the Attic. Now, a lot of you out there might be thinking that McDonald's is the only one that comes out with the best kids meals toys, and maybe Burger King is the second runner-up or something. But sometimes some of the other chains can actually surprise you. So for today, we're going to be taking a look at Jak in the Box's Exploration Vehicle. So without further ado, let's take a closer look at this guy. Okay, so here we have Jak in the Box's exploration ship, broken up into its 6 different segments. Now each one of these guys have names, but I can't quite remember them, and I'm not going to butcher it by trying to pronounce them right now, so I'll just have text up at the top. Okay? Now these guys came out in 2003, and I will admit, around then I was starting to get out of, well, I was really out of collecting kids meals toys. I thought, no, I'm too old for kids meals. I'm going to college right now. I don't have the time for it. And I was trying to watch my waistline too. But then my cousin showed me these things. He ate at Jak in the Box all the time, and I thought they were so cool, and it was such a cool design, especially seeing it all together, that, yeah, I just had to have it. Now, I also started collecting these guys halfway through their release, so I had a heck of a time. I don't want to cuss on this thing too much, but I had a heck of a time tracking it all down, especially this guy in particular, because he was the first one that came out. Now, this one is actually the little submarine, and it has a neat little gimmick to where it actually lights up. And that's actually a pretty, the batteries are still holding up after all these years. If I had one major complaint about this particular figure or toy, is that I wish it had a little battery compartment where I can pop it off and put new batteries in if I wanted to. The day when this thing runs out of juice, I'm gonna be very sad, because just lighting that thing up, the camera doesn't really do it justice. Well, maybe, but that's really a nice bright light. Now you can see a lot of really cool detailing on here. One other sad thing is I keep on getting this weird greasy brown stuff that appears on this toy. I think it actually just might be part of what happens with kids meals toys, because when you're eating it with fries, burgers, and other stuff, all this grease that gets on there, you don't see it at the time, but over the years it just starts to kind of brown and yellow and come to the surface. So I'm constantly having to clean this guy, but what are you going to do? Now you can also see in past this little blue glass here, you can see the little cockpit, and it has like a little belco and pedals and other stuff, and just a lot of little detailing that goes into this thing. Now you will notice over all the course of these other toys that the cockpits do change in size, so there isn't too much size consistency on, I guess, how big the pilots are going to be, but yeah, what are you going to do? Alright, so here we have the next one that came out, and this one is the one that looks the most spaceship-ish, or looks most like a spaceship. It has this nice little wheel on here so it can roll, but that I think goes more in line with everything else that when you put it all together. Now this one's gimmick is it actually has a little button right here, and that's actually supposed to shoot off. Sadly, now the spring on this thing has gotten really weak over time. I probably should have never had it in its lock position. This thing used to fly off really far. It was a very powerful spring, but over time it's just kind of gotten weak. I do remember the little caption of this one is the one that has the little escape pod, and it can split into 2 fighters and actually attack, but it is a really neat ship. I mean, you're almost getting kind of 2 ships in one on this one, and this was the first one I actually got in the line. Let me just put this up. Snap it on there. Now another cool thing is it actually has 2 little clear lights in here, and the way this works, and you can see the 2 little holes back here and how this is really concaved in here, is this actually snaps right on here, so when you're actually lighting up the other one, those light up too, so it looks like it could actually be firing. And that's the cool feature about these things, they all combine together. Now here we have the Land Rover, and you can see here the cockpit is a lot bigger, and you can also see a lot of the cool little details on the control panel right here. Now this one really doesn't actually do much. I mean, it just kind of rolls around, and it has 3 wheels, and that's kind of about it. I mean, there's not really much else to it. The first 2 were a lot cooler as far as gimmicks go, but this one's kind of nice. Now it has 2 little holes right here, and you would think actually that's just where the screws go, but they actually did a little cool bit of double design here, and you can actually fit these 2 pegs right up here and snap it together, and that's where the little Land Rover exploration vehicle gets stored. Now next we have the little satellite dish. Now this one, you have a little button right here, and the satellite pops up, and it can move around, and it has a little wheel down here so that, well, it doesn't work over time. Ah, there we go. It's not working too well. I guess it's kind of old and stuff. But anyways, the idea was that the satellite can spin around, and that's pretty much the gimmick for this one. And this one has a little tab right here, and you can see that we have these little slots right here on either side, and this one kind of fits right in there. So you could have the little satellite exploration pod or module, computer, whatever you will, to send out signals or receive signals. Now here's the other little cool one, and this one actually doesn't look like it does anything, but in reality, if you roll it, actually sparks come out of here. This is kind of neat because I haven't seen too many more toys that actually do the spark gimmick. Not since the 80s anyways. Now, yeah. I'm not going to be able to get it to do the actual sparking thing, but you can kind of see how it's been a little bit burnt in there. That's because when I got it, I first tested it out, and it does actually make quite a few sparks. And now you actually put that one on this side, and I guess that one is the engine that actually helps power the whole thing, or you could pretend that it's the one that shoots out more lasers or a concentrated beam. And just by looking at it right now, you can see that this thing is starting to grow and it has a lot of heft to it. I mean, it does actually feel kind of heavy and a really nice toy. Now, last but not least is you have the underground exploration vehicle, the one that I guess can actually dig through dirt and stuff. You can see it has these nice little tank treads, and the cockpit in there is a little bit lacking compared to the others. I mean, it's just just kind of a seat, no other control panel or anything else like that, and it's really curved in here. I mean, who could really sit in something like that? But when you put it all together, you can see how it fits. Now the gimmick on this one is you actually can pull it back and it will go forward, and the little drill will spin as it's working. So that's actually a cool gimmick as well. I mean, the first two were good, the middle ones were so-so, but the last one kind of pulls it all together. Now, as you can see, there's a little hole back here, so that's just right where this little drill module exploration vehicle fits. And here you have the whole ship all together. Now, I will say, yeah, this thing does weigh a lot. I mean, you feel that, yeah, this was, if they were to sell this, this would easily be maybe a $9–10 toy, definitely, because just the weight to it definitely feels like it's there. And altogether, I think it actually looks pretty cool and kind of badass. I mean, when I collected this thing, I thought, nope, this one is going to be displayed in my room for all time. I mean, this thing, I just really like this thing. I mean, it looks really cool. The black and white colors to it is really simplistic, but I just love it. I mean, it's kind of small, cute, but still really spacey. Anyways, you can kind of collect these things on eBay if you wanted to. I mean, track them down. Just remember to have an exploration figure, and if you remember the names from the start of this video, you can type them in and find them if you want. The submarine, I think, is going to be the hardest one to find. The other ones, yeah, you can kind of find them pretty easily, but the submarine is going to be the one, and that's the main one that ties it all together. I mean, without it, you just got 5 other parts that don't really do much. So anyways, this has been a look at the exploration vehicle. Once again, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what you've seen today, please feel free to like, subscribe, or leave a comment below in the comment section. Any advice for the show will be greatly appreciated. Who knows, something you suggest may appear on the show in the future.